Today is a very exciting day for Aquaholic because I'm down at Princess Yachts in Plymouth. They have a new model coming out, but actually it's more than just a new model. It's a brand new concept of boat. They recently released an animation of it and I asked if I could put it on my YouTube channel because I knew you guys would be interested, and they said, hey, why don't you come down and see the actual boat? It's in build, it's nearly finished, but come and have a walk through of it, which is just an incredible opportunity because nobody outside of the factory has been on this thing yet. We're going to be the very, very first. So I'm in the Princess Yachts customer room. I'll give you a little look at that. This is where you go if you're coming down to buy your Princess Yacht and you come down to the factory. Then this is one of the areas, they've got a couple of these, where they host people. And in fact, if we look out here, you can actually see we're right on the edge of a creek and you can see some of the new Princess boats just down there lined up for testing or dispatch or whatever else. But let me tell you about this new boat. So it's called an X95. Now I'll explain the concept with the help of these brochures. This is a traditional flybridge boat. This is how most boats are configured with a flybridge. So you've got the hull here, of course, you've got a lower deck down here, and then you've got a main deck. So you come on here, you've got your cockpit, you've got then a main deck here with a saloon. You've seen these if you watch my videos. And then that stops here, and then of course the cabin goes underneath it and the foredeck is here. Now on top of that is a flybridge. Now what Princess have become aware of is that space for a lot of customers is absolutely paramount. The more space you can put into a boat, the more people like it, because that's what you need most of all when you're boating. So they thought, okay, let's completely reimagine this layout. Imagine if you brought this main deck, instead of stopping here, you brought it right up to the bow here and just let a small area, a lower level for rope handling. Imagine how much space that would give on the main deck. It would give you masses. Now imagine then what it would do for the flybridge. So this area here, instead of coming up to here and stopping, would run all the way up the main deck. So you would increase the space inside and outside the boat massively. Well, that's what they've done. Here we go. This is the X95, and you can see precisely what they've done. So the main deck now, let's put this other brochure next to it, in fact. Here we go. The main deck now, instead of coming up to here and stopping, now runs the full length of the boat right up to here. There's a small area in the bow, so for rope handling, because you need to get to cleats and that sort of thing, you've got that. But that's increasing the space on here massively. But look at the flybridge. On this one, it's from here to here. On this one, it's from the very back of the boat right up almost to the very front of the boat. And what they've done then is they've put this upper deck area with a helm station, so you've still got an internal area from which to drive the boat, and that's given you acres and acres of space on the boat. This is going to be, well, it's got to be about the most voluminous 95-foot boat on the water. So as I say, the first one is in build, nobody's been on it yet, and they're going to take us over and they're going to give us an exclusive preview. This is an exciting day. Let's go. Now, Princess Yachts has got 7 factories across 5 sites. This is where it all started off. This is called Newport Street. Where we're going now is called South Yard. It's where they build all of the super yachts. So we're going to head out into a rather filthy day. This is reception at Princess. We're going to head out into a rather filthy day and head for South Yard, go and find this magnificent boat. Okay, here we go. So we're just approaching South Yard. As I say, this is where all the M-class boats, the really big boats, are built at Princess. They are 95 foot and up are built here, and it's a really impressive facility. That's just coming up ahead of us now. Let's go and have a look at this magnificent boat. Not the best day for it, but it's inside, so hopefully that'll make things a little bit more comfortable.
So this site here, we've built 8 40 metres, 7 35Ms, and we must be about 12 or 13 of the 30Ms at the moment. And our latest one is just there, which is just getting ready for dispatch in the new year.
Awesome, fantastic. And this is like a paint
tent, which we've got for X95 stock number 1. So it's all encapsulated, so we can do all the spraying. And there's a lot of surface area on this boat, so we've had to completely tent all the way over the top of it.
Wow, fantastic. Cool, let's go and have a look.
40 seconds.
Okay, so stand by for an Aquaholic tour with a difference and a glimpse into the future of flybridge cruising. Here we go. Now we've waited till lunchtime because we hopefully get the boat mostly to ourselves, which should give us a bit of a better view. But we're going to start off back here. This is a transformer, so this is an entire huge section of the bathing platform. And what it does is it folds down flat, or you can lift it up, and you'll see that there's stairs on here. And that means that when this is cantilevered out, you can use it for access up to a dock, or you can drop it down into the water, and it's a walkway down into the water. And as we come around here, this is a garage, and this is big enough to put a jet ski in, or your sea bobs and other toys and that kind of thing, so they're right at water level. Let's carry on a bit further, because this is where, of course, it gets most interesting. So we are now on the main deck. Now, of course, this is very much a work in progress, but it's going to give us a pretty good idea of what this boat is all about. So this is the aft seating area at the back. Just here, there's some steps up there to the upper deck. Over here, you can choose. You can have this as a wet bar, as it is at the minute. We can have a bar area there, or whatever you want. But when we go inside, this is when it gets interesting. So this is the main saloon, and it is vast. That is the only word for it. It's absolutely massive. Now this particular owner, he's got seating on this side. You can have seating over here, but he's gone for this storage area instead. Now of course these are all massive windows all the way around here. You can't see them because everything is masked up and tented off at the moment. These doors, of course, these are glass doors. They slide all the way back to link these two areas. And then he's gone for a dining table over here. You can have a bar over here and a dining area over here if you prefer. There's all sorts of layout options. And these are big side doors, so these open up on both sides of the boat, so you get lots of light and air through here. And this is like a serving station. Now on this one, the galley is up here. Look at this beautiful woodwork they've done. It's absolutely superb. This, of course, closes off, so you can slide that across like that. And then these are steps up to the upper deck, which we will have a look at in a little while. But let's go in here first of all. So this is the galley on this boat. Now there are various galley options, and I will explain those in a moment. But with this one, there's a side access door there so the crew can come and go without going through the accommodation. And then this is all of your galley equipment. So things like your Miele dishwasher, and obviously ovens over here, here and here, and underneath here, and then massive fridge freezers over on this side. So these are sub-zero fridge freezers, really huge. So it's a good sized galley, but actually there are variations on layout. So this is, again, is your saloon area. So on this boat, what he's done is he's gone for a main deck master cabin. That's up through there, but you can, if you prefer, utilize that forward area, which we'll look at in a minute, as another saloon area or another little sort of snug. But also you can have a country kitchen option, and what that does is it makes this whole area right across here a great big kitchen. I mean, to call it a galley is to undersell it. And then ahead of that is like a dining area, so it becomes a big kitchen diner in the front of the boat. Very, very sociable. But as I say, very much owner choice. This owner's gone for a main deck master. So let's go and have a look at that. So let's head up through here. I like these bookshelves that they put in. There's a day heads over on this side. So that's in behind there. And then up through here, this then is the master cabin. So these are big wardrobes. Let's have a little look. In behind here, so that's a wardrobe with drawers underneath it, and then more storage next to it, and then you've got more over on this side, so masses of space to put things. And then up ahead, this is the master cabin. Now, and a couple more changes have been made by this owner. Well, first of all, to mention, of course, these are all great big windows. They're all masked off at the minute for the painting, but that nonetheless is what those are. And then up here, normally there's a window in the front looking out over the bow. What this owner has chosen to do is put his bookshelves in and this big fixed TV. So again, a lot of customization, and it's very much owner choice, as you'd expect at this sort of level. This is like a floating table here. Of course, there'll be a couple of chairs to go around that as well. And then the heads is over on this side. So you've got these beautifully formed sinks like this. And then behind this frosted privacy glass, you've got the actual toilet, like so. And then on the other side, a big towel here, which is rather nice. And then the shower is over here, really good size. And it's a rainfall shower, of course, you can see it up there. So that is a really nice big ensuite. Okay, let's go and explore a bit further. Look at that, that's going to be a magnificent cabin when it's finished. Okay, let's head on round. This, of course, again, all storage in here. like so. And this is a dressing area. Love these lights, beautiful. Right, let's go and take a look at the lower deck, and then we'll head up and check out that upper deck as well. Again, you come out of here and you get that sensation of space. Look at that. That is vast. Okay, let's head on round. There are steps down here. This is taking us down to the lower deck. And then there's a big double cabin up here in the front. This is like a VIP cabin. That is a walk-in wardrobe. Can you get a sense of the wood in places like that as well, because it's not covered up. Very nicely done. Love this satin finish, it's great. There's beautiful lights again. And then over on this side there is the heads, and of course that has got its separate shower in there. And again, there's big windows which we can't really see at the minute because it's all closed up. Dressing area is in here. Incidentally, all of these are programmed presets, so you can choose different levels of lighting, and you can obviously customize those how you wish, and then that's the air conditioning controls just there. Okay, let's head on back a bit further. So back here are two identical guest cabins. Like so, really good size, and this owner's chosen to have Pullman berths, so these are up here, and what's nice is they're all cantilevered on gas struts, so it drops down even without me holding it. Look at the engineering that's gone into that. That's fantastic. Very nicely done, and of course that has an ensuite as you'd expect, just up ahead with a separate shower stall, and that's mirrored over here. A very similar cabin, again two singles, and that Pullman berth, and of course same arrangement up there in the heads. Now back here, again, you're seeing some owner options going on. So normally back here, this is a full beam cabin and the bed is on the centre line. This owner's chosen something slightly different. He's blocked off this area here, and I will show you why in a moment. That's the AV system in behind there, the big television. There's a huge window up behind there. Now this has an ensuite over here, but still a very nice with its rainfall shower. But let's head round over here and I'll explain what's changed. So what he's done by putting this bulkhead in is he's left space for a small gymnasium. Look at this, with a running machine. And that's not as easy as you'd think, because you can't just plonk a running machine in here because there isn't a head height for it. So what they've had to do is sink it down into the floor so it's flush, and then they've actually eked out some space. And the reason for that, of course, is that when you're running, you're bouncing. So if you didn't have that extra height above it, you'd be in danger of hitting your head. That's some serious thought gone into that. And then back here, you've got things like a TRX system for exercise and that kind of thing. There's going to be weights and all that kind of stuff in here. And of course, this has got a big window out onto the side. And then this is yet more storage. But how neat is that? An actual gym on a sub 100-foot yacht. It just goes to demonstrate the sheer amount of space that they've eked out of this. It's incredible. Cool, let's go and take a look at that upper deck, and I think we're going to see if we can get out onto the flybridge decks as well. However, before we go past any further, we need to stop and have a look at this. That is a Miele washing machine, and that is for guest use. So there are professional Miele equipment in the crew cabin, but if a guest wants to just wash their own smalls, don't want to give them to the crew, they can do that with that one. Okay, let's head on up again, back up to this vast main deck. I keep coming back to this and going wow, but it's a wow area for sure. And we can head on around again, and there's an internal stairway, something you don't see very often, certainly not on this side of the boat, but this has it. Excuse the background noises a bit, there is still work going on here, of course. So this then is like a sky lounge. So we're now on the upper deck. So we're seating across here and around here. There's a big pop-up TV in here, and more storage across here, and then this is your helm up ahead. Now what's neat is they've put these big sliding doors across, so this whole area can be closed off. That does two things. Firstly, if the crew want to be separate, then they can be behind that, but also for night navigation, it means that you can have the lights on in here and it's not affecting your navigation up ahead. So in here, there's an area for crew to sit and enjoy. This, of course, is going to be great big comfortable seats on here. And this is all your control systems across here. It's got joystick control on it. These are your throttles. Your wheel, of course, will go here. And these huge screens, I love the way they're like forward sloping. That's fantastic. And then there's a door access out onto the upper deck just there. We can't get out onto the deck from here, but I think we can from further back. So we're going to go and see if we can see that. But that is an amazing area. I mean, it really does make this boat pretty much a triple deck. Okay, let's head on back, see if we can get out onto the deck areas and show you those. And then we will, of course, see whether we can get into the engine space and the crew cabins. Because, as you know, we do like to do things thoroughly on Aquaholic. Okay, back down to here. Pause for a moment. And then head on back. So this, as I say, is going to be seating across here, seating across here. There'll be obviously a couple of armchairs here and a table, low-level table in the centre. That's going to look really nice when it's finished. Okay, back out here. Let's head up this stairway here. So this is our upper deck. As I say, I apologise again for the noise, but it is very much a work in progress. And this isn't all of it. There's a massive area here, as you can see, but it actually goes further forward again. We're going to go past this in a moment. And this, of course, will have seating or sunbeds or whatever the owner chooses to specify here. Let's go a bit further. There, you get a better idea now. If I pull that up. Look at the size of that. That's amazing. And these, of course, are the doors back into that Sky Lounge area. But you can go past that. Got this really wide side decks. Very high-sided here as well, so it feels super safe. And you can just see through the sheeting, you can see the inside there. And we'll head on up to the bow. Okay, so this is what I mean about this deck getting almost the full length of the boat, because that is the very front of the boat just there. So a great seating area in front of these windscreens. And in fact, there's space here. You can either have sun pads on here, or you can have a hot tub if you wish up on this deck. And then this is where it drops down. Of course, when you're doing rope handling and that kind of thing, you'd be too high up here. So you can head down here, and this brings you back to normal main deck level. And in fact, they've even put another seating area in here, which is great. But that is vast. So bow of the boat, upper deck starts here. Normally that would be massively further back down the boat, and that just frees up so much space. It's incredible. Awesome. Let's head on back and we'll see if we can find those engines and crew cabin. This boat is going to be absolutely incredible when it's finished. I can't wait to see it. It is wonderful to be able to get this little preview of it. So let's come back out here. As I say, this is the back deck area all the way across here and out across here. Just vast, absolutely vast. Okay, let's head on back down here. And to access the engine space and the crew cabin, we're going to head around here. There's a door on the side. This is the other side deck. Now what these do is they go down the side, and then there's steps at the front that take you back up to that upper deck area. But let's head on down here and check it out. Okay, so in here there is a variety of configurations. On this boat there are 3 crew cabins and there are 2 toilets. Now you can change that. You can have 2 crew cabins with a bit more space, and also this one has that garage in behind here. You can also incorporate that into this area as well if you want to. So a lot of options here, but what this boat has got is twin bunks here and twin bunks here. So that's for 4 crew, and as I say, they have 2 toilet compartments, and those have got separate showers, which is nice, so it's not like a wet room. And another one on the other side. You can see that one a little bit better. And then this is a single cabin, so this will be the captain's cabin over on this side. But as I say, you don't have to go for this. There are other options with more space, with a mess area down here and that kind of thing. It just depends how you want to configure the boat and how you want to adopt that stern area. But let's head on forward a bit more, because this is the engine room. Now this has got a pair of MAN diesel engines. They are a conventional shaft drive. You can see the shafts running back down underneath. I don't know how well you can see those, but they're underneath there. These are 1,900 horsepower each. And obviously they haven't tried this boat yet. It's not been to see. This is the very first one. But they're reckoning on about a mid-20 knot top speed. But what is impressive on this boat is the range, because it'll hold over 13,000 litres of fuel in massive tanks. And that, at about 10 knots, I reckon, is going to give it 2,000 miles of range. So it's a real long-distance machine. This is all the hydraulic systems here for things like side power thrusters, that kind of thing. And if we head on around here, you've got fuel changeover system. This is another exit here out of this space, so there's two ways out. These are the exhaust silencers. Look at this engineering that's gone into here. It's just amazing to see them like this. Let's head on around here. This is a generator. There's two of these, one here and one outboard on the other side over there. But this is quite interesting up here. This is a shore power converter, and what this means is wherever you plug in anywhere in the world, it converts the voltage and the hertz to what the boat requires. So there's no way you can't plug in. That is a really neat idea. And again, look at all this stuff, all the plumbing in around here and the electrics and the fans. These are the exhaust systems across here. Very impressive. This one here is a water maker. So that's creating fresh water from seawater. You can see that better perhaps on the other side. Yeah, there we go, it's just there, and in fact it looks like there's two of them on here. Very impressive. Let's go right around to the front. Very get-outable. Excellent. Now we're going to finish off with a look underneath the boat, because there's a couple of interesting things to show you there, but that, I think you'll agree, has been absolutely fascinating. Firstly, to see the layout of this boat, but also to see one in build. Excellent. So back into this crew area, and we'll head back up these steps. This is behind the scenes again. People talk about these access panels. They say, what are behind these access panels? Well, here's a perfect example. You've got things like seacocks in here, exhaust routing, and the idea of these is you can get into every area. You'll see there's traps underneath the floor, and more access. That's an access panel at the back there. It gets you back into that area, because clearly from a maintenance point of view you do need to get at this stuff, and that allows you to do it. So when you watch my videos and think, well, what's behind that panel, that's the kind of thing that's behind it. Excellent. Let's head on up and we'll go and see if we can take a look underneath. Okay, so we're going to finish up this tour with a look inside the paint tent, and we can actually see the hull here, which is quite interesting. For example, it's got this piercing section at the front, so this increases the waterline length and also gives it a much finer cut, as you can see if we come right here. That's really going to help it go through the water. And you can see the colour of it here as well, this very deep dark blue, which looks fantastic. Let's just wander down the side. And then if you see down here, we can see the big windows in the hull. Obviously everything is masked off at the moment for painting. This, of course, is still very much in progress. This is a work in progress, so it's by no means the finished article, it's the very beginning of it. But nonetheless, I think you'll agree, very interesting to see. There we go, that's fascinating. So there we go, that is the X95. That's an incredible opportunity to be able to see that, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing it. I think that boat is a real glimpse of the future. Now we're back at the Newport Street site, and it is pouring with rain, but I'm going to give you a bit of extra bonus footage because this is well worth seeing. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of 5 big sites. It's one of 7 factories, and this is actually where everything started off. So we'll have a very quick look. This is the waterside factory there, but it just gives you an idea. Now, when this company started in 1965, this was an ordinary industrial road with sheds on either side of it. And in fact, Princess started off in one of those sheds back in 65. It gradually expanded, it took up the entire street, and they ended up being able to close the street off at the end and end up with this whole thing. But it didn't stop there, because, oh, let's just stick a camera in there. This is some of the boats in build. Head on a bit further. But it didn't end there, because they then actually expanded this out across the water. I'll show you that when we get down the end. So it is an absolutely incredible site. Now, if I'm not much mistaken, that is a Princess 45 being moved. They have these huge sort of trolley, remote control trolleys, so they drive these things around by radio control. The guy next to it with the orange, he's actually operating that. They've also got a few of those. So that's a boat that looks like it's just come out of the shed. You see the IPS drives underneath just there. That, if I'm not much mistaken, is a Princess R35. That's their new super boat. Let's just poke our nose in here. More boats in build. Get some idea of the size of this facility. So I think there's 4 boats in here under construction, but obviously there's a lot of these sheds, a lot of boats under construction. I think Princess builds something like 300 boats a year. It's an incredible setup. Now this over here was the original launch dock. So you had a crane here, they brought the boats down, they launched them. As the boats got bigger, they had to actually create a larger launch dock. They ran out of space for this one. Obviously it's still in use for the smaller boats, but then for the bigger boats like this one, they built a new launch dock actually inside the shed. So if we come right back here, that's a boat that's either just come out or just going into the water. Where we are now is all piled. So this was originally water. They built out across here, piled down, and created this extra area so that they could have this dock. So this is an indoor dock. And look at the size of this. Obviously they need a facility to match the boats that they're building. Another big boat over here. There we go, amazing. As I say, that's just a very quick look. It's a filthy, filthy day, but hopefully you'll find it interesting. I'm quite keen, if they give me the opportunity at some stage, to do a proper factory tour, so stay tuned if you want to see that. I hope you enjoyed that little insight. I think it's been absolutely fascinating. Do hit the subscribe button, the little bell, if you haven't done already, because there's going to be a full proper tour of that X95 once it's all completed and hits the water. And we'll bring that one to Aquaholic as soon as we possibly can. But in the meantime, thanks as ever very much for watching. It's been great to have you along. And let me know your thoughts on that X95 in the comments. It'll be very interesting to see what you think. Thanks again for coming along. Take care. Bye-bye.